Mr. Poilievre, Chris Allard, Global News. Your candidate in North Vancouver said that he has heard when door knocking that you as a leader are divisive in the extreme. What should your candidate say when
he said that?
Your candidate in North Vancouver. I'm asking on behalf of my colleagues in Ottawa. Your candidate in North Vancouver said that he has heard when door knocking that you as a leader are divisive in the extreme. What should your candidate say when he hears something like that?
Well, first of all, this is again the Liberals misrepresenting what my candidate actually said. What he actually said is that he strongly supports me becoming the next Prime Minister of Canada, and that he wants to fight alongside me to make the community and the country affordable, safe, and strong again. So I regret that the Liberals have misrepresented what he said, and that the Global News has reproduced that misrepresentation. Thank you.
Mr. Poilievre,
Yes.
Sean Chang, CTV News. What would you say to any of your MPs who are worried about losing their own seat?
I would say that our job is to fight for Canadians, to fight for the jobs of Canadians, to fight for a lower cost of living and the safe streets of Canadians. Look, at the end of the day, our focus now should be on the fact that Mark Carney has broken his promises on grocery prices. He's given us the worst consumer insolvencies since the Great Global Recession. He has given us the worst household debt in the G7, and he's missing in action now on trade and the Gordie Howe Bridge. My job is to continue to fight for the common people, fight for affordability, and to fight for safe streets for our country, and that's what I will continue to do.
We have time for one final question.
Hi, just a quick follow-up. So building on my colleague's question here, veteran political strategist Stan Robertson recently penned an op-ed suggesting that Stephen Harper wouldn't be able to win a leadership race in today's Conservative Party. Do you agree with that? And what do you think has changed in the party since then? And just to clarify his question, I think he meant your candidate has heard from people at the doors. He hasn't said it himself. It's people at the doors who are saying that. So.
Well, first of all, the Liberals misrepresented what the candidate said, and unfortunately Global then reproduced what they misrepresented. So that's unfortunate, but the reality is, what is the Conservative Party today? Conservative Party is the party that champions the working people of this country, the folks who get out of bed, work hard, pay their taxes, and play by the rules. That's why we got the biggest vote count in our history, and we're going to continue to fight for those people, the people who believe that they've done everything right, and yet they can't afford groceries, mortgage payments, or even buying a house. The people who worry about the growing crime on their streets. We are the only party fighting for them, and that's what the Conservative Party is today.
So yesterday in Vancouver, there were two protests, one against the Iranian regime and another where the regime flags were flown proudly. For a lot of people at the latter, they would see the Israeli or the American flags as the terrorist regime. So I'm wondering, what's your take on the idea that one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist? And in Canada, how do you balance the need to protect free speech with tackling the promotion of terrorist organizations?
So the first part of the question is, what is a terrorist organization? And the answer, we have a legal definition. It's an organization that's listed under the anti-terrorism law as a banned terrorist entity. And that is based on advice from CSIS and other law enforcement. So Hezbollah, the IRGC, these are terrorist organizations. One can have differing opinions about other foreign governments, but that does not make foreign governments that you don't like to be considered a terrorist. So my position is very clear. The regime in Iran is a threat to Canada. They killed 55 of our citizens, 30 of our permanent residents by bombing PS Flight 752. According to Global News, there are 700 agents of the IRGC willingly operating on Canadian soil, threatening our people. We've had a professor from SFU go missing and be found dead after facing months of threats. The Persian community says that they have had constant threats and harassment by regime thugs. This is a regime that now is linked to, according to American court documents, at least two major shootings on Canadian soil. One of the U.S. Embassy in the U.S. consulate in Toronto, and the other a synagogue, and those are just the ones we know about. It is time for us to identify the willing agents of the IRGC who are operating on Canadian soil and kick them out of our country, to stop the regime agents who are willingly part of this terrorist enterprise from getting into our country, and to protect the Canadian people. We also oppose restarting any diplomatic relationship with the regime in Tehran. We stand on the side of Canadians of all backgrounds, but particularly Jews and Persians who are being targeted relentlessly on Canadian soil because of this Liberal government's absolute failure to protect our security and defend our borders. Thank you.
Navrahi with CBC News. Should Canada accept deal with USA with no lumber relief? Is it better Canada try to strike a deal for tariff relief for some sector, but not all of them? And do you think Canada should retaliate if US does impose the tariff on Wednesday?
Thank you for your question. It is unacceptable for there to be U.S. tariffs on Canadian lumber. We have right now, since Mark Carney took office, American tariffs on Canadian lumber have tripled. And in return, he's made endless concessions. So the approach of Mr. Carney has failed demonstrably and has threatened the jobs of British Columbians and all Canadians. 30 mills have closed in British Columbia under the Liberals' watch as a result of their diplomatic failures. Prime Minister Harper successfully negotiated a zero tariff rate on Canadian lumber and a full refund of earlier collected tariffs. It's time for Mark Carney to keep his promise that he would negotiate a win and get the tariffs off Canadian softwood lumber. No more concessions while getting nothing in return. We have to stand up and fight for our country. I should just add, I think there's no reason why the Prime Minister can't get a great deal on Wednesday. That's what he promised in the election. He said he'd negotiate a win, and we're cheering him on because we as Conservatives will always put Canada first.
Hi, Jessica from Snow Goose Media. You argue that eliminating those taxes would put more money back to the pocket of Canadian families, but tax also pay the infrastructure and public services. How would you balance those tax relief with maintaining those services?
Yes, thank you. Very good question. So first of all, the Liberal government is receiving about $6 billion of extra revenue that they didn't expect to get as a result of higher oil prices driving up the profits of Canadian energy companies. The question is, what do we do with that money? We don't think it should be used for yet more government spending that will ultimately be wasted. We think that that money should go back into the pockets of hardworking Canadians struggling to fill up their tanks and buy groceries. We also know that this is the most wasteful government probably in Canadian history. Mark Carney has increased government spending as a share of our economy to the highest level in 30 years. It's time to cut back on bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, handouts to fake and phony refugees, corporate welfare to Liberal insiders like the condo bailout. Cut all of that waste, and then we will have more money to leave in people's pockets. Bring down the cost of government so we can bring down the cost of living.